What's up, y'all? It's Keisha, and I am back. Finally, I am back. Yes, I am so happy to be back over my mic. It has been a journey. As you can see, I changed the name, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But I just want to thank everybody who was reaching out to me and asking me when I was going to put another episode out. When was I going to, get back into what I started? Because I got scared. I really got scared, and God helped me through, but I do want to say thank you to the people that just let me know that in some type of way, shape, or form, like this was doing something for them. They were interested. They was meant to win what I was talking about, because once you start something and it's something you really care about and it's not some hype that you're trying to jump on, I tend to get scared, and I let the criticism of others get in my head, and just the fear and trick of the enemy just really weighing on me and making me question everything I'm doing and what I have going on, and if I'm even capable or qualified to even do something like this. So I just want to say thank you to every one of you. I'm not going to name everybody, but I appreciate y'all support and y'all just making sure I'm good, because I needed it. I really did. So moving forward, as you can see, I changed the name. And the reason behind that was because and nothing wrong with the name. I thought it was dope, but I really wanted to zone in on what I really wanted this channel to be about. I think it was very broad, and although I still, I'm going to push honesty, I need to put God at the forefront and not be afraid of what that might look like for myself and my relationships and friendships, family ships, connections, people, whatever. I changed it. And originally, when I came up with that name, I knew that I wanted to use this platform to talk about, the things that have going on in my life and things that I've learned, and just, share my stories and my testimonies. But and although God was heavily in it, I was not giving it all to him. I had one foot in and one foot out. And, you can't really do things like that with God. He is not a person who is going to play those lukewarm games. And I mean, it had alcohol on the dang on intro. Like be for real. We're not gonna do that. Because it doesn't. It just. I just say it just didn't reflect wholeheartedly what I'm trying to do here. And so that plus really just hitting some things, and we're gonna get into that later. I had an opportunity to step away and really think about what it is I want to do in my heart, and what it is that like God is asking me to do, because I've had this microphone, and I know I've said this before. I've had this microphone and I've had this laptop and all this equipment and stuff for about 5 years now, and I wanted to do this years ago, but it had a completely different direction. I wanted to talk about the typical topics we already see, really going on. And I really struggled with starting, because something always inside of me was kind of conflicting. Like, I don't want to do something that's already being done. And I also don't want to sit on here and give people advice from a place of experience, because although we all we can think and tell people what they should do or whatever, but truly everybody's situation is different, everybody's circumstance is different, and the things that they go through are from their experience, environment, interaction. Is unique, and I don't want to give anybody any advice and have them follow something that is completely not okay or suitable for their situation based off secondhand information. Nor do I want anyone to take what I did and do it and think they'll get the same outcome. So when I thought about it even deeper and I sat with it for months, like, and I'm talking about prayer and fasting and really just getting into my Bible and studying and really understanding, like, all in all, I couldn't have did anything that I did or made it out of anything I made it out of without God. And my overall goal is to not just tell my story, but really shine a light on who did it and who pushed me through despite the decisions I made or in spite of the decisions I made, and lead people to a place to find their own answers, because I think we search for a lot of things online and it gets confusing, it gets overwhelming, at least for me. Like, I'm going through certain things in life and you're talking about it out loud or yourself or with other people, and next minute you know, your phone is showing videos and posts and everything about your situation, ironically, and then you just start like thinking about those things and going with those things, and then before you know it, you done made a decision to wind you up somewhere you shouldn't even be, you know. And so although I want to share my experiences and the experience of others and really open this platform to people who also, you know, find themselves in a place where they are committing and honoring God, that we can, you know, share these experiences and help someone else, you know, find their way to Him and find, you know, their own guidance in certain situations. So the name had to get changed. And it's funny because this name I really wanted to use for something else. I won't even spoil it. I wanted to use this for something else, and I've been sitting on it for a while. And the more I tried to come up with something for here, nothing else felt right but this. And it was like, well, we can always do that with this, but for now we're going to start here. You know, so I love the Players Club. And I say the Players Club because it is truly a reflection of me. And I know somebody's going to be like, well, that sounds like the Players Club. And I know it does. And I love it because that, and you will get to know, like, I share a lot of similarities to that movie, but outside of that, though, turning it into like a life of prayer is seriously the other end of that too. Like, I'm not shying away from my decisions, I'm not shying away from the things that I've done, or, you know, my experiences and, you know, the ups and downs, but prayer has been consistent through my life. It looked different in different times of my life. How I pray now is nowhere near how I prayed back then, or younger than that. Somebody would probably say I probably wasn't, and we'll get into that another episode too. But prayer looks different for everyone, and there's different forms. You don't always have to be down on your knees. You don't always have to have your hands up to God. Those are very strong forms of prayer, but prayer looks different, and it's all in different ways, shapes, or forms. And so my hope is to create and cultivate a community where, you know, people are tapping into their higher self, tapping into God's guidance, and allowing Him to be our friends and Him to be our mentors, and walk in that light rather than all these different things that we have online overwhelming us and trying to suck us in and dry us in. Because I believe everybody already knows in their heart, for the most part, what they want to do, or at one point in time in their life they did before they got distracted or delayed or on another path, you know. And I know one thing for sure, it's nothing that prayer can't do. Nothing. Because that's a communication with God, and it's a direct line to Him. And when you're talking to Him, it's nothing He cannot do. And if it's something that is not meant for you, He will use that same prayer to change you on the inside and change what you want, change what you're asking for, and easily do it. It won't feel like, you know, you're doing something you don't want to, or you are doing something that doesn't reflect you. He will definitely change you. I was asking for a platform and a show to talk about relationships and traumas and, you know, upbringings and just experiences, and the whole direction, although still same, it wasn't rooted in God. And through my experiences in prayer, He definitely shaped what it was that I wanted. Um, And I I'm I can't be upset at that at all because without him, listen, without him, nothing is possible. So that is the reason why we had another name change. I'm not going to delete the old videos because, I mean, even though they kind of cringy to me, I just think it's a part of my journey and it's me being transparent. And it was cool. It's cute. The little intro was cute. I worked on it. I tried. But yeah, so we rocking out with the Prayers Club, and I am in the process of trying to create a community on Instagram. So I need you guys to follow the page and get my followers up so I can. And we're going to do some devotionals. We're going to do some, back and forth interaction in another little, platform besides here and open, and really just build community. The world is going crazy right now, and it always is going crazy. Life is always going crazy, and you definitely need to have people that are going where you want to go or on the same journey, because it's so easy to veer off the path and be distracted by your old ways. And I don't know about none of y'all, but I'm done playing. I'm done playing. And it's not on no, oh, this is 2025, new year, new me. No, it's not. I'm the same me, but I'm not playing anymore. Like, I cannot do this by myself. I'm not going to do it by myself. I need God. Period, point blank. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who is telling me you can't do blah blah blah, then try to turn to God. A lie. A lie. I can do everything that I did and still be one of God's favorite. I can still turn around and restore my life. It is never too late. If it's not too late to start a business, if it's not too late to start, if apologize, whatever, you have got to know it is always the right time to turn your life over to God. Period, point blank. And that's really kind of another reason that stopped me from, really keep putting out episodes, because I just felt like the stuff I'm about to tell these people, somebody gonna be like, girl, you think God listening to you? At least that's the thoughts in my head. Somebody probably never would have said that. I don't know. But when you are really walking in your purpose, the enemy will try to steer you off of it any way he can. And I know this to be true, not only from scripture and from other, testimonies, but I've tried to do a lot of different things in my life, whether it was, going to school, starting a bit of business venture, working at certain jobs, doing certain things, having certain friendships, interactions, relationships, doing certain things. And as long as I was doing things that weren't for me, I had no struggle. Life was good. Life felt good, at least. It felt so good. I was having the time. I was having the time. However, when those times were over and I found myself alone in my solitude, I felt alone as ever. I felt unloved. And then all those things that I spent the whole day trying not to let bother me is now bothering me. The things that I've spent my whole life trying to shove in the back corner are now in the front of my mind, screaming and yelling. So with all of that, I say that to say, when I started doing this, I started getting the most negative thoughts that I've ever gotten in my life. Like, I've never had anything deter me. Like, okay, for instance, people who know me know I used to have a skincare line. I had made a skincare product to help my face, and I eventually started selling it. And when I was doing that, although great idea, nothing wrong, it was not sinful at all. However, it was not my purpose. Cool. It was cool. It was cool, but it was not my purpose. So with that, I was able to get the money to start it, bottle it, label it, sell it, advertise it, bring in customers, blase, blase. Hurdles was coming up and I was jumping over them. And then it got to one part in the section where life hit, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm done with that. But never, not once did I have in my mind, like, people aren't going to like this. People aren't going to use this. Like, I was just like, if they see my face, they going to use this. Like, I was just going with it. And he wasn't bothering me because he knew, like, you ain't doing what God wants you to do. It's cool. You doing that. You chasing a bag. I want you to chase a bag. And this world wants us to chase after money. Everything is about money. Everything is about, what we have and what we can obtain and things like that. And then, and we're not, it's not a bad thing, because at the same time, the prices of this world continue to rise. The things that we want, nice things, the prices on them continue to rise. Everything has a price. So we go to work, we get money. That's just a part of this life. However, you have to really do something that is purposeful, so it doesn't feel like a job. So it doesn't feel like, you're doing whatever just to get a bag. Like, it really needs to be in alignment with what God has created for you. And I'm not saying that God has created every last one of us to, do something in the church or do something around the word. I mean, for someone else, it might be to be a healer of the skin. That was not for me, because the second I started this, all the doubt set in. And anybody who's really done something that meant something to them, anybody who's really went after a goal and accomplished it, knows that when you are truly aligned with something you love and you can get lost in, you feel the most doubt, you feel the most obstacles, the most attacks. You feel like, this ain't gonna work. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. You face the most adversity, and that's when you in your glow. That's when you on your right path. I know this factually. So I had to take some time to really reflect on what I wanted to do with this microphone, where I wanted it to go, and trust that God is going to move through it, really, because I'll try to plan it out, and I'll try to write down little notes and key points about things I want to talk about when I get on here. And it all usually just goes out of the window, because once I've prayed and I've set the mood to really do this, whatever I said probably or wrote down probably doesn't even come out, because he's not asking me to talk about what I want to talk about. He's using me to talk about what he wants me to talk about. And that's when it became very apparent to me that instead of focusing on or letting the devil, enemy, whatever you shall call him, whatever, instead of letting the thoughts of doubt and shame come into my mind and make me think that I am incapable of doing this, how about you pray, getting your scripture, getting your Bible, and find those words that let you know that these things are for you and you can overcome what he's doing. So instead of thinking that because you didn't go to college to study, religion, or you're not trying to be a pastor, or you have not lived a holier than thou life. I'm not asking you to do that, because there are people that look like you, and people who have done the things you've done or come from the places you came from, experience the things that you experienced, that need God. They want to change too and don't know how. They want to feel free and don't know where to go, because there's so many of us have either been raised in the church or not been raised in the church, or been hurt by religion, or just had, someone that calls themselves a leader or a follower of God and has hurt us with their judgment, with their words, with, how they've treated us. And so that makes you shy away, because essentially we are all, representatives of God. When you lock in with him, you are a representative of him, same way you are with your job, and it's crazy, because if our job tells us, okay, if you're going to go out to happy hour after work, you need to take off your uniform. You don't need to be at the bar after work with your uniform on. You need to change, because if you out there getting into something or doing something, somebody sees you with that on, that's a reflection of our company. Not only can they come back and tell on you, but you also can leave a bad taste in their mouth of what we have going on here, even though you're not on the clock. It's no different with God. You can't walk in and lock in with him and then, you know, go out and continuously hurt people or live a half in and out life, because someone's watching and they're going to see that. And that's going to speak for God. Unfortunately, it is, because you are the closest thing that they've seen or they're experiencing currently in that moment. And that type of stuff can steer people away from him. And so you really have to be careful. But more importantly, if you've had those experiences, I just still want to let you know that, like, those people are still hurt. Nobody is perfect. When you start walking to God, you don't all of a sudden become perfect. You'll never still be perfect. It won't happen like that at all. But once you really get into your Bible yourself, you got to open that book. For real. I'm not asking nobody to go to church every Sunday. You'll do that if that's what you want to do. I'm not asking you to tune in. I'm not asking you to do none of that. But get into that book. If you got to open a random page and just read it, do that. If you got to ask somebody what's a good scripture to study, do that. If you got to Google, say you going through financial problems, Google Bible verses for financial problems. It's there. Get into that. Get into that, because once you read it and you have your own interpretation, you'll lock in. Everybody has their own interpretation. Somebody might read something and it means something totally different to them. And then I go and read it and it triggers something totally different in me, which is why this is the number one selling book year after year after year, because there's no way you can read it more than once and get the same thing out of it. You're going to keep getting something different. Because as you grow and your thinking develops and your relationship becomes closer, you can make so many different connections with it that it just never gets old. It never gets old. Get into your Bible. If you don't have one, buy a physical one. The phone is cool. I use my phone if I'm on the fly or whatever, but get you one. I got 2 in my car, 3 in my house, 1 little one in my purse. And this is just, me speaking on, this is new. This is new. All this is new to me. I'm doing this because the attacks are so deep, like the self-doubt, the obstacles, the problems, the hurt, the experiences that I'm going through are so deep, and they hurt so much, and they cause so many wild emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, depression, whatever the case is. They cause so many emotions that if I don't keep it on me, I don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes, for real. Because all it take is for the enemy to whisper one thing in your ear and he'll off place you for 5 hours, for days, for weeks, literally. All it took him to tell me is like, girl, you did X, Y, and Z and you finna try to tell these people to pray. Be for real. I put this down. I put it down for 3 months. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. But through my prayer and through my reading and through my fasting, you really open up your mind and your heart to listen, and not just talk to God, but listen and allow him to place his purpose in you, place what his word is in you. Have a conversation. The conversation is better than any conversation you can have with any friend, any lover, like the way he speaks. He gon' tell you what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, and you just got to be ready for it, for real. So with that, change the name, change the direction, just being more honest, walking boldly in my faith, really embracing what that means and holding myself accountable. Because if I say, God, I want to make this my career. I love talking on my microphone. I love sharing my experiences. I love having conversations with others. I want to be able to use this to talk to other people. I want to have a set. I want to have a crew. I want to do all this. I want to host shows, like live shows. How can he do that if you don't start? If you don't have a show, how can God pour into it? Literally, he said that. How am I going to make this your career if you won't even put out an episode? How am I going to bring you thousands and millions of followers if you don't even stay consistent? I can't make one episode pop and go crazy. Just one. Like you ain't worked for it. You ain't did nothing for it. You haven't even showed yourself you can do it. Cause if I make your first episode go viral, is you ready to keep them people going? You gotta show me some consistency. You gotta show me that you really want this. Because I know what I can do for you. I know what I want you to do, but do you want to do it for real? Because you keep waking up for this job on time. Okay. Okay. You keep waking up for this job on time that you can't stand because they're giving you some money that ain't enough. Is you for real? When I say God can bless your life overnight in a way no job ever can. And it doesn't matter if it's a show. It doesn't matter if it's a business. It doesn't matter what it is. Start it. I encourage everybody to start it. If it's whatever it is, if it's a trade, whatever it is you want to do that you've had on your mind and heart for so long, do it. Because he can't bless you through it if you won't start. But if you're going to continue to tell yourself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How I can't. Well, then you can't. But I don't want to make it to the end of life. And cause in my mind, this how it is. And this probably sounds crazy. I've always had a big imagination, but in my mind, I feel like once we, transition, we go through our rights or wrongs or whatever. But in my mind, I feel like, and at least I like telling myself this, we gonna replay my whole life, right? We gonna watch it probably in fast mode, like a highlight reel of my whole little life, right? And it's gonna look real good. And it's gonna have some real bad lows, and I'm gonna be able to watch it. And then I think God is gonna be like, let me show you what I had planned for you, right? And so then he's going to go and show a highlight reel of all the times he gave me an out to get back on course, but I took another detour and I took another detour and I took another detour. I took another detour, right? And then at the end, it's going to be the if you hadn't and you would have went left or you would have went right instead of left, this is what was going to be here at this point. And this was what was going to be here at this point. And then it's what all leaded you up to this, right? And he has plans to prosper you, not hurt you. Plans to, make you better, to fill you up, to have you protected. He doesn't send you any evilness or any, no, none of that. So when you make it to the end and I see like, oh my God, I really could have had a show. I really could have traveled. I really could have had a set. I really could have had a crew. Like I really could have not been an employee. But instead, I went left every time. That's sad. At that point, like, okay, it's fun. I'm in heaven, but dang, I ain't get to live life, And I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like every time I try to do what I want to do, I always wind up left. I can't trust myself for real. And I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. I really think we all shouldn't trust ourselves. Like being human is hard. Having a heart, the heart is so deceitful. It just wants love. That's it. It's gonna and I know that's why people say use your head and not your heart, but this is the thing. You can't even use your head if it's not focused on God. Both got to be on God so he can guide you to where you need to be, because I've made so many decisions off what I thought was my heart and what I thought was my head. And both times it was like, yeah. Like I've had moments where it's like, okay, this is cool, but okay, that went well, but I wish it would have, I had to take that in order to get that. Like, I cannot trust myself without God to do the right thing. I can't. I literally can't. Life is too hard. I've done too much without him to be like, I can keep doing it better without him. No, I can't. I literally can't. So I had to get my word. I had to get locked in and really understand where I wanted to take this and what I wanted to do, and just walk boldly in it and understand, if I lose some friendships or if I lose some connections or whatever the case is, if people are judging me, I mean, it is what it is. You're going to be judged anyway. Somebody going to talk bad about you anyway. But when you're doing what you want to do and you're doing what God wants you to do, and that aligns with each other, you really could honestly care less. For real. It's literally a scripture for everything. And of course, we're going to, every time I get on here, I'm going to try my hardest to drop more than one in the word, because I don't want to just get on here and speak, because I already know people going to be in the comments like, where it say that in the Bible? Where it say that? Where do it say that? Like, and so I'm going to always back myself up with where I got these thinkings from. And again, you might get a different interpretation. Somebody else, it might trigger something else. But what you got to focus on is what it is for you. What it is for you. I just want to inspire, draw people to him, and make life a I can't even say a better place, better for us. It's not going to be perfect. Nowhere did he say you won't have obstacles. You don't just lock into God and don't have problems. You're still going to have problems, but it's your mindset when approaching them problems. And it's your mindset, when you are overcoming them, and who you give that thanks to, because we can't get arrogant. Arrogant makes you go to a place where I promise you the enemy going to be right there waiting for you. Oh, you think you did that? My guy, come here. Come here. I like you. You think you did that. You think you did that. You don't even think God did that. You think you made that business, profitable. Okay, come here. Come here. Let's celebrate. He gonna tell you that real quick. And if destruction or an L is not on the other side of it, I'd be scared what is. So, that is what inspired my name change. Yeah, so share this with somebody if you know that they are on their journey of, growing closer with God, or just, hesitant and don't really know how to get started. This is for them. This is not for my seasoned saints. I mean, it can be, y'all welcome too, but this for my newcomers. This is for us who want to do something different, who have lived an imperfect life and they're not afraid to admit it, and it's time to move different. It's time to move different, right? Cool. So moving forward, what's been going on in my life? So I battled with what I was going to talk about for this first one, because there's a lot going on. Oh my God, it's so much going on. And I even right now, I hesitate with talking about what really is on my mind because I have so much. But I hesitate with what I really want to talk about because, again, judgment, but with my, I'm trying to find the best words to use me, please, because I'm already getting scared. But if I'm being completely honest, what is going on right now is still on my mind. Really is heartbreak, for real. I could talk about finances. I could talk about purpose. I could talk about all of that. And I know it's going to be a time for that. But this is my safe space too. And one thing he promised me is talk like nobody's ever going to hear it, and let me do what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to talk like nobody's ever going to hear it and be completely honest, because as much as I feel like I'm the only one, I know I'm not. I know I can't be. That's impossible. There's too many of us in this world. And from the looks of my social media, the way they hear me talking out loud and the things they show me online, like I know I literally can't be the only person. So, um, well, for those of you that didn't watch the other ones or are new, I spoke about, going through a breakup, but I was still hiding how I really felt. I was more so on the positive side, and I was really trying to stay focused on the positive side, as I should. However, you can't fake it till you make it with God. You just can't. It's no way around it, because you find strength in your weakness. And if you can't admit that you're weak, and if you can't be weak, he ain't gonna give you strength, and you ain't gonna be able to find his strength, because your strength is the strength from him, for real. So I was avoiding being vulnerable, as to a certain extent. I was avoiding being weak even within myself, because I just never thought I would find myself in such a situation. So to be there, it was like embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It still is embarrassing. Um, it is unbelievable to me. And I try to shut it out. I just try to shut it out with pretending to be like super happy and grateful. And even though I'm grateful, I'm still human and it hurt. I'm trying I'm trying not to curse, because I want to real bad. It was very hurtful. And I also don't want to hurt anybody else from here. And I understand the truth hurts, but I don't want to stray away from the truth and get so wrapped and engulfed into my feelings that are not completely healed, that I hurt someone or I send the wrong message. Because by no way, means, shape, or form am I bitter, but are my feelings hurt? Yes. Did I see it coming? No. Has it changed my whole mind about how I approach dating, about how I approach love, about how I love myself? Completely. Have I cried endless tears about things that I did wrong and should have not done every day? Yes. Is that going to change anything though? No. So, it got ugly. It got really ugly in the last 3 months. It was already kind of ugly, but it really got uglier. And I'm talking about on the floor in the tub crying, like letting the water. I mean, you would have thought I was in, you would have thought I was in a music video. It was so sad. If I could have been on a fly on the wall, and I use humor because I mean, I have to laugh things off, for real. I really do. And it's not saying I don't take them serious, but once you get past something, it is kind of funny looking back. And it really was. If I could have been on a fly on the wall and seen the way I was on that floor, ugly crying, like I can't even believe me. But it was my genuine feelings. My feelings were hurt. And so I have other means of my stories. Like, I might not go into great detail here, because I'm also a writer and I've been working on a project with other stories in it and things of such. So I don't want to give away too much, but I just want to focus a little bit on dating, relationships, and just really speak my truth on it and let that work the way it works. So you can expect that coming up, because we're not going to get into it today. We're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it today, but yeah. See, even right now, it takes me back. It really does. It really does take me back, but I know I got to pray on it some more, because if I don't have the words, I'm not going to force it out. I really do need direction on where I need to go with it. But I say all that to say that Going through that without, really breaking it down right now, going through that taught me so much. And not just about relationships, but myself. It taught me so much about myself. It taught me so much about where my love was coming from, where my decision making was rooted in, and how to let go. I needed it to really let go because that was hard too. And I never thought I would find myself in a place struggling to let go. I've never struggled to move on from any guy. I've never struggled, to move past any hurt. I'm always the type of person to really put it in my back pocket and keep going. And that's kind of been the problem, really, though. If I'm being honest, I'm always just shoving something behind me like, yeah, whatever. We finna keep going. And when you suppress so much, you hit a breaking point. And I didn't know that that was what this was. I thought I was just going through a breakup. But no, I had hit a breaking point of constant shoving things under the rug. There was no more room to shove anything under the rug, and it all just fell over me. But I'm grateful that I'm bold enough to be honest about my feelings, because we live in a world where women love to play stiff on a man. Women love to, portray how they are not going to chase a man. They don't care if a man is here or gone. They don't care what a man does. They will allow him to do whatever. I mean, I can go on and on about all the different ways and fashion that, this society and this culture influences us as women to move and act and think. But I can say that I am proud of myself for being vulnerable and being honest, because I wouldn't have got answers without it. I wouldn't have broke free without it. And that tough girl role, it's cute. I swear it's cute. And it's definitely doable when you don't really care about somebody. It's super doable. But when you have, I don't even want to add the years because it was so many years, but when you have deep love and what you believe it to be in those moments, when you have deep love for a person and you experience so many things with them and you grow with them, you're not going to tell me that you just wake up the next day and throw it in the trash and you good. That's not happening. That's not happening. There's no way you're going to tell me, oh, you just go find another one and everything's good. No, that's a lie too. You're faking. You're faking it until you make it. And you can keep doing that like I've done so many times before. But you will hit a moment where none of that works. None of that works. And I never could understand how women could like sweat a man, or how women could, be hurt over a man. Like I never could understand that up until now, because I'm just like, it's so many out here, or he don't love you, or whatever you try to speak from, but you're speaking from a place of not understanding, of non-experience. And when you do that, you definitely, it bites you in the butt later, because when you really feel your heart being broken, baby, you ain't gonna tell me I'm just gonna be quiet and hit the gym and everything gonna be okay. Please, please. Does the gym help? Yeah, a little bit, for real. If you need something to do for a little bit, but it's not the solution. It's not. You can get the body and you still have your feelings hurt. For real. You can't tell me, oh, we're going to get a hobby, everything's going to be. No, 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 no. No. The only way I made it out of this situation and was able to move forward was literally praying to God, being honest, being vulnerable, talking out loud by myself in the dark, in the closet, reading my Bible, studying, journaling, taking notes, and constantly reflecting. Now I'm talking about day in and day out like it was school. That was the only way. He was the only person who was able to help me do that. It to a point it almost made me mad. Like, the girls say they just hit the gym. They just hit the gym. They do a little self-care and they good. Why am I not good? My nails stay done. My hair's done. I'm at the gym. What like this is months 5, 6, 7. Why am I still thinking about this? I ain't talked to this man. Why am I still thinking about this? So we're gonna get into it, but get into your Bible, buy you a Bible. If you gotta start with your phone, start with your phone. But whatever it is you're going through, and it don't even have to be a relationship, get into it. Get into it and just read. That's all I'm asking you to is just read. Share this with somebody that you know could use this journey. Subscribe. Leave me some comments. Let me know, how you feeling about it. Welcome me back. I missed y'all. I am not leaving this time. I promise I promise God, like, you know what? I wake up every morning for that crappy job. I'm going to make sure I get this done. I'm going to. I have to. There's no more room for excuses. Once once he talk to you and he tell you what it is, you gotta walk boldly in it. It's no questioning no more. It's literally not. It's like me telling you, like, hey, I bought you this BMW. Show you the title, your name on it. It's all paid for. Here go the keys. And you don't never go outside and drive it. You don't even go outside and look out the window. You like, you ain't do that. You never do it. And sit outside for like 20 years. And then finally one day you go over there and you like, oh, she wasn't lying. You know how salty you would be? You just knowing you had a little designer car outside and you ain't never go out there and even turn it on. That's literally how it is. Like, once he tell you what you're supposed to be doing and you lock in with him, it's no way you can play around with it. You can't do it. You'll feel goofy. You'll feel very you'll feel very goofy inside. And yeah, it got to the point I felt goofy. I felt very goofy. And I knew I was distracted. I changed my number and all that type of stuff. We're not even gonna get into that because I already told y'all, like, subscribe, share this with somebody. We're not getting into we're not getting into that. Follow me on Instagram at Keisha Lisa. Follow me on, if you want to be on my Snapchat, Keisha Lisa. It's Keisha Lisa on everything. KishaLeysa. It's the Prayers Club. We're going up. Be on the lookout for Little Black Book. And as always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Pray. Keep your faith. Put God first. And don't ever, 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 ever let nobody tell you what you cannot do. See y'all next time.